losing it. Okay, we'll take a comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and away from the ears. Keeping the chest lifted, we'll drop the nose down toward the floor. Eyes be closed or soft. And letting go with the exhale, just allowing the exhale to take away thoughts in the mind. Any excess energies in the body, whatever form they might be. Starting to smooth out and lengthen that exhale. We've been thinking about broadening the exhale, ear to ear, left to right side. Envisioning the exhale rolling over the body, starting at the head and working its way all the way down the length of the body into the feet. And as the exhale pours over the body, it just softens the muscles, softens the tension in the body as it goes. And then envisioning filling up the body on the inhale from the feet all the way up the length of the body to the top of the head. Drawing in the inhale, that brings in balancing energies, calming energies to the body. As the inhale fills, we feel a widening of the back of the body, the sides of the body, moving in all parts of the lungs. Could either stay with one part or the other of the breath in that visualization, or if you like to try balancing between the two. So on your exhale, focusing on that lengthening from top of the head down to the feet. And on the inhale, focusing on filling up from the feet up to the top of the head. So you could alternate, or you could just stay with one part, one visualization that really seems to help. Well, a couple more breaths here. After working with the visualization, we're starting to let it go. Really staying connected with the breath. And on your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into the space. Right. Let's do a side bend. Left hand down, right hand up and over. And we'll inhale up and over to the other side. And we'll inhale, coming on back up. We'll take both hands back by the hips, shoulder blades together and down, lifting the chest up toward the ceiling, or possibly coming into a back bend. And then on inhale, we'll come on back in. Let's interlace the fingers, we'll press the hands forward, and then up and over the head. Feeling those side bodies lengthening, starting to push the ceiling away from the floor, so getting some length here. Bringing the hands down, change the release of the fingers, and then forward. So one thing as we do our yoga practice, we sort of feel out those Ayurvedic energies. What feels dominant right now? The Vata, air, is it fire, Pitta, or is it that Kapha, more earth energy, heavy energy? Just kind of feeling out, and it's not really important to identify specifically, but just sort of feel what energy feels dominant, and then do I want to work with that energy? Do I want to go toward that direction? Or do I want to counter, try and bring it back into balance? It's too much of that energy. And exhale, we're going to bring the hands down. So at all times we can be doing that evaluation. Let's keep the legs where they are, keep the hips down, and let's come on forward here. So I'm trying to make sure those hip bones stay down. And if it feels okay on the neck, you could just let the head drop down, maybe the eyes soften. On an inhale, we'll walk the hands back in, come on up, and we'll switch the legs, other leg on top or in front. And both sit bones down, come on forward here, different hip, different side. And on inhale, we'll walk the hands back in and come down. All right, let's work our way into hands and knees. I think to start today in our hands and knees, we'll take the right leg back behind. So press back through your heel on that side. And then if you're okay here, you could lift that heel, pressing back with the heel, abdominals in. And then if you want, your left hand could come off the floor and extend the arm in front. And balancing here. We'll bring the hand down and the knee down, and we'll come to the other side. So starting with just pressing the left heel back, really lengthening that leg, abdominals supporting, and then you could lift the heel up in line with the hips. And then that right hand might come off the floor and the arm extend. And I'll bring the hand down and the knee down, and then let's come into a little cat-cow, tailbone up, chest up. And exhaling, arching back. Let's come back and forth here. Next time that you're in cat pose, arch back, we'll do the last one and we'll come back to the neutral spine. All right, we're going to bring the elbows down to the mat. You're going to have your elbows shoulder width apart and turn your palms up to start. So elbows right under the shoulders, and with your palms up, you should be able to feel the outside edge of the elbow down onto the floor. And now keeping your elbows where they are, draw your palms together and interlace the fingers. So I'm going to bring the hands together, keeping your elbows down, and then push your hands and wrists and forearms down into the floor. And you're going to push a hole in the floor. And you should be able to feel a real strong connection in the upper body. You're going to draw your shoulder blades wide, away from each other, away from the ears, and back up toward the hips. So the more you push into your hands and wrists and broaden your shoulder blades, you should get a feel like a winding across the collarbone, nice and solid here. A couple of breaths, just pushing down into the hands, down in the forearms. So by doing that, you're trying to distribute the weight from your elbows into the hands and forearms too. So it's not just all weight in the elbows. And then from here, you're going to bring your nose over your hands by just bringing your hips forward. So you're going to bring the head comes forward, nose over the hands, still strong in the arms, still pushing down into the hands. And then we'll bring the hips back where they were, bringing the head back in line with the elbows. I want you to feel this in the shoulders. Do that a couple more times, just sliding forward, bringing your nose over your hands and pausing there for a breath or two so you can feel the hands working, the arms working. You're going to draw the hips back in line over your elbows again, or have your head in line with your elbows, hips in line with your knees. And just come back and forth, just forward and back here. And you might even go a little beyond your hands if your shoulders feel okay with that. You might just stay at the hand level, just forward and back. Any speed that's slower is probably a good way to feel things out. What are the shoulders doing? So actively pushing down in the hands, actively pushing in the forearms. You might even synchronize the movement with the breath by inhaling when you come forward and exhaling when you come back. And the next time that your head returns in line with your elbows, that will be the last one. We can release the hands and bring your hips back to your heels in the prayer pose. You can reach through the arms, lengthening out the arms. Inhale, we'll come on back up into hands and knees. We're going to come back into that same position. So turning your elbows down toward the floor and your palms up, that really helps with getting the outside edge of the elbows on the floor directly under your shoulders. And then you can bring your palms together and interlace the fingers and push the hands and the wrists and the forearms down into the floor. And broadening the shoulder blades, broadening away from each other and also up toward your hips and away from your ears. And it opens up the collarbone as well. It should feel nice and solid in the upper body. And now for this one, it's a little more of a subtle movement. You're going to put your head on the floor between the elbows and then push into your elbows to lift your head back off the floor. So the way that works is you'll work to set the head down, the top of the head, down on the floor, and then push in the elbows to lift. So you should feel this in the shoulders. And what we're going for is a shearing action that goes up the length of the back and back down again. So it's like you're really controlling here. So you're not lifting the head with the neck. So keep the top of the head down on the floor, toward the floor, and lift with the shoulders, just lifting up and down. Yeah, so Lori, try to keep your head from swinging, from lifting. So try to not use the neck. Yeah, just lifting, just feeling this in the shoulders. So when you're pushing into the hands and the forearms, that's how you should feel the lift of the shoulder blades. So the arms pushing down on the floor and the head coming off the floor. And then when you sink down, then the shoulders move back up toward your hips, and that's how the head comes down. Again, we're strong in the arms and the hands and forearms. And after you've done 4 or 5 of those, you can release back, hips to heels, and a prayer pose, or even softening the arms down on the floor if you'd like. And then on an inhale, we'll come on back up again, hands and knees. I'll walk the hands forward now and bring the knees in line for a half plank pose. Half plank pose, the hips are in line with shoulders and knees and actively pushing down in the floor. So you should be feeling those shoulders. They might be a little bit warm right now. It's feeling how solid your plank, but your half plank pose can be when you've got those active shoulders, active arms, active hands, abdominals drawing in. And then we'll lower all the way down onto the belly, reaching back through the toes. We're going to come up into a cobra pose, pausing in cobra. Shoulders back, tailbone down, head and chest lifts. Now we'll lower back down to the floor, abdominals in. We'll come on up to the half plank pose. And then we're going to walk the hands back toward the knees. We're going to come into our balancing squat. So your knees may come wide. You could tuck your feet under and keep walking your hands back to come up into your balance. So the heels are working their way toward the floor. You might be wider, you might be more closer together. And I'm just finding where your balance is today. And then from here, we're going to work our way up to standing. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose, down into the feet. On inhale, we'll take the arms up. Palms together. On an exhale, we're going to bring the hands down, length the body, following here with the gaze, starting to drop the head. Then on your inhale, hands come back out, inhaling up. Top the inhale, look up the hands, palms come together. Exhaling, hands coming down, the center of the body, following the hands with the gaze, trying to drop the head a little lower. And inhaling, now I'm going to add a little bit of a back bend on your inhale. So starting to come a little behind, looking up, palms together at the top of the inhale, exhaling down, maybe faster or slower than me. The end of the exhale, we're bowing a bit, starting to increase the motion there too. Inhaling up and maybe into a little bit of a back bend, palms together at the top of the inhale. Exhale. You might exhale out the mouth. That feels right today. Little bow on your exhale. Maybe starting to increase the motion, increase the range. So you're coming into more of an inhale, or more of a back bend on your inhale, and more of a forward bend on the exhale. Make sure that you have the full length of the breath, not rushing, but not shortchanging either. So making sure it's full breath. You might find that you start coming into a full back bend on the inhale, and maybe start coming into a full Uttanasana on the exhale. Just trying to stay present with the body, the breath, that Vata energy. A couple more here. And on your next exhale, you can come into a full Uttanasana, standing forward bend. And hold there and breathe. Lifting that tailbone up toward the ceiling, upper body softens down. Balancing the hips right in between the feet, or between the toes and the heels. And making sure your feet are hip distance apart, outside edges parallel. Take a deep bend of the knees and come up for chair pose. So reconnecting with the feet. Notice if you're rolling to one side or the other, or if you feel more in toes or heels. Using the whole foot, bouncing across the whole foot. Right, pressing the feet, come on up, release the hands. Warrior one, right foot forward, left foot back, stirring those hips. Right knee bends right over the ankle, elbow down. Exactly ready, we are Arjunasana one. So again, connecting with feet solidly on the floor, toned muscles in the legs, but also a bit of that relaxation. So there's that muscular energy holding the integrity of the posture, strong in the legs, but also a bit of where can you soften, where can you allow the prana, the energy to flow. Do both at the same time. From here, stick the hands into a butterfly stroke. So if it feels okay on the shoulders, you could do the full butterfly. Or if you are shoulders are getting tired, you can always do front elbows. Just like you were swimming. When you're swimming, you're trying to get that largest circle, largest rotation that you can. So holding the legs in a warrior one. Come on back to hold in the warrior one. I think we're working to pyramids. So we're going to straighten the front leg, and I guess we should have had you grab blocks if you want them. If you're going to use the blocks, you'll have them one on either side. Now straighten that front leg and come on down over the leg. for pyramid pose. So right leg is straight. We're squaring the hips to the front. It's a sagittal plane posture. And yeah, if you want, you could soften down a little more, starting to bring your nose towards your knee. Just don't bend the knee toward the nose. So the knee stays straight. That right hip drawing back toward what's behind, really lengthening out that leg. Whole foot down on the right, on both sides actually, but definitely the right side. Using the whole foot here. It's breathing in our pyramid. We're going to inhale. We're going to lengthen up through the spine. You're going to come into revolved triangle pose. We're going to keep left hand down, trying to keep your hips level. We're going to rotate the shoulders, opening the chest toward the right. So you could keep that right hand on your hip, starting to stack the shoulders around the length of the spine here, or you could release the hand up to the ceiling if you like, either way. Revolve triangle pose. If you want a little more of a challenge here, really pull into your core and see if you can lift your left hand off of your block, or maybe just lightening the load there. So you notice just how much you have to pull into your core to be able to do that, how strong the legs have to be. Then on an inhale, we'll unwind our twist, coming back into the pyramid. And take a bend to the front knee, coming on back up to our warrior one. Some control. Nice. And then we can go ahead and release and step the feet together. So you may notice that during those transitions with control, that requires balance and muscular strength as well. So even when we're in the middle of poses, we're still doing yoga. So let's take the left foot forward and the right foot back. I'm going to square the hips now, coming to the other side of warrior one. I'm going to bend that knee right over the ankle. Thumbs up when we're ready. Active feet, active legs, muscular energy, but then also that organic energy, that prana flow, that softening where you can. And from here, we'll do a backstroke. So we're just swimming again. Big backstrokes again, because too much for shoulders, hands to cover the shoulders. Noticing if you feel anything different when you go this direction, when you went the other direction. Is there a different feeling in the shoulders? Is there things moving around? We'll work our way back up into a warrior one. And then coming into pyramid, we'll straighten that front leg and come on down. So left hip now moves back toward what's behind, front foot solidly on the floor. Keeping the knees straight but not locked. If you want, go ahead and take the nose toward the knees and curl the upper body down. And then on inhale, we'll lengthen up through the spine, work our way into revolved triangle pose. Right hand stays down, hip stays level, and the shoulders stack. So again, you could have the hand on the hip, just drawing the shoulder back, or you might release the hand up toward the ceiling. Making sure that both knees are straight and the feet are still solidly on the floor. Breathing. And unwind the twist, coming back into a pyramid. And with control, bending that front knee and coming up, warrior one. Good, and then we'll release and step the feet together. Let's do a little balancing. We haven't done that in a little bit. So now we're on tree pose. Using a prop if you want one. Starting with standing on the right leg. So finding that taproot leg, finding the root of the tree on the right side. Left foot comes up, bending version of tree. Knee up to the side. And breath flowing. Not holding the breath. Just allowing it to flow through the body. Gaze is soft. Where is my edge today? Notice if you're holding the breath. Right, good work. We're going to come on out with control on that side. Work our way to the other side. You're ready, tree pose, new side. Left foot solidly down, right leg comes on up. Just noticing also what happens in the mind. What do we have to let go of in the mind so that we can balance? We can focus on standing on one leg. So part of the process is just observing how it is we come out of balance when we do start to fall. What happens in the mind, what happens in the body. Once we just start becoming more aware of those signals, maybe we can catch them a little bit sooner. Then we'll come on out with control. All right, we're going to work our way down onto the floor. And sit on a blanket and do a little seated forward bending. I think we're going to start with a frog pose. So for frog, you'll sit on the edge of your blanket, but have your mat kind of sideways, or at least a place where you can bring your feet and they won't slide. So the way frog pose works is you're going to roll your feet outward so that your pinky toe side comes in contact with a non-stick or non-slippery surface. And then you may even start to roll the whole foot down. Your big toe side might start to roll down as well, and that's okay. Knees are out here, out wide. Knees are out, and the heels are about in line with your knees. Pretty wide out. Yeah, heels about in line with the knees. Yeah, start here from in the center. If you can bring your fingers to the floor and draw your shoulders back and down. So down away from your ears. It's like you're reaching up to the top of your head. So you feel the abdominals engaging here. And then any amount, you could start to come forward. And then be leading with the chest like you're doing all forward bends. You might be able to reach your feet. If you can grab a hold of your feet, you could pull on your feet, so giving you a little bit more tension. If you just keep your hands on the floor. I'm going to inhale. I'm going to come on and back up from that. I'm going to straighten out the left leg so you can support the knee. Do that, straightening out that leg. You're going to bring your right foot in. So you're going to draw that foot into the inside edge of your left thigh. Toes up on your left foot. And then right between the knees, you're going to come straight forward. So here you might be able to come forward and bring your elbows to the floor, or maybe they don't get to the floor. If you do, bring your elbows down, they easily come in contact with the floor. Then you can keep going and start to take your nose down toward the floor. But do try to keep your sit bones down. So if like one sit bone is really starting to come up, you're going to try to root that, ground that down. I'm going to inhale, we'll come on and back up from there. And we'll do the side bend. So we'll take the left hand down the length of the leg, starting to drop the whole left side over that leg. Right hand on the right hip and open the chest toward the ceiling. So it's like you're rolling over your left leg and eventually having the back of the body on that leg. And if it feels okay in your shoulder, you might release the right hand. It might come up over your head. It might start coming towards your toes. Just making sure you're not rolling the chest down toward the floor, but instead chest is opening. Inhale, we'll come on back up from that side. All right, let's switch sides. So drawing the left leg in, we'll extend the right leg long and then the left leg, a foot comes by the thigh. All right, starting with our forward bend. So toes up on the right side, right between your knees, and you come straight on forward. Keeping the sit bones down. Just staying present with what's going on in the body. And on inhale, come on up. And our side bend, right side now drapes over the right leg. So I'm going to drop the shoulder down and whole side body down. Left hand on the hip, open the chest toward the ceiling, drawing the shoulder way, way back. And if the shoulder can stay there, that hand is free. In a bunch of different places. Just keeping chest open and dropping a little lower on the right side. And on inhale, we'll go ahead and release and hold out. All right, we're gonna work our way onto the back. Come down onto the back, knees bent, and the feet on the floor. I'm gonna take the feet a little wide. So the feet are on the floor, they'll be about mat width or maybe even an inch or two outside of the mat. So a bit wide. And then from here, you're going to drop your right knee toward the floor and your left knee will come in towards center and toward the floor. So basically dropping both knees over to the right. Keeping your right knee still down. Now we're going to open the left side. So I'm going to take that knee toward the left and then keep going. It's going to pull the right knee over to the left side as well. So then the right knee closes down toward the floor, the left knee's open. Do that again. So we're going to open the right side first and then being super wide with the knees, we're going to roll them over to the right side. And when the right knee comes down, then the left knee closes and comes towards center. Go back and forth like that. So I'm going to open the knees wide before rotating over to the other side. And then once the outer knee has come to its maximum, then the inner knee closes. So back and forth there, any pace. We started with going to the right. So the next time that you go over to the left side, that will be the last one. And then you can work your way into a Shavasana. Making yourself super comfy in corpse pose. Allow the breath to deepen. For movement to return to the body. As you're ready, make your way to a seated position. Hands together at the heart. Thank you for joining and for sharing your yoga practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your sunny weekend, and I will see you in class again. Namaste.